actually the ACM containment facility. So clean room, shower room, equipment room. We have it divided with partition walls, wrapped and enclosed in plastic. So that way we kind of have a border so we can work over here without Tyvek suits, without the full requirements, while over here we can continue with the ACM removal. On the mortar removal, so we've done the ACM removal here, and we started again getting all that loose mortar out. You can see there's a lot of large cavities in some of these sections, so we need to go 2.5 times the height or the width of these joints. So typically we're going to have to go 2.5 inches back with the new mortar.
And there was asbestos in here?
Yes.
In the mortar itself?
So in the mortar, in the repoint in the 70s, when they did their restoration efforts, they had actually had 3% asbestos inside the mortar. So right now he is actually working on removing the original mortar. So we're going a little bit further back. So we want to make sure all the mortar is removed, not only a certain depth, but also against both surfaces of the stone. Otherwise, it's going to be bonded to old material, and that old material is 90 years old. And then this is an old patch, and you can see it's got a lot of webbing, cracking, delaminations. This is something that wasn't expected. This they had broken off in the previous restoration efforts, and it was a similar condition to what you see on this joint. Again, with it failed, I can't leave that intact. So we're gonna have to remove this, patch it, and then we're gonna stain every single patch to match this different color. Because sandstone, there's a wide variety of colors, so there's just not one set type of material. So this is the lead-coated copper louvers. There's some areas where the joint had actually failed. We're going to go back and we're going to clean it up and then solder it back together. And then we're going to kind of clean this with a mild solution and some water. But again, we're not trying to make it look brand new. We're just trying to clean it up. So he's cleaning out all the mortar joints just to make sure. So what you saw the other gentleman working on was just making sure that everything was removed at the stone surfaces. He's going through and identifying any areas that we need to go through and touch up or remove additional material. Patches being around the windows, they weren't scheduled to be repaired, but again, around the windows, I wanted to make sure that everything was clean and preserved, so when they install the windows back, we're not going to have any water infiltration issues. So before, when we first got here, there was a lot of biological growth, and that actually will start eating away, especially at sandstone. Sandstone is very porous, and it's susceptible to damage, and so there was a lot of biological growth. So we came in here with a D2 cleaner, hot water, and we cleaned it off. So this is where there's a lot of iron or steel inside the stone itself or anchors behind the stone. So in these areas, we're going to use several different cleaners on this isolated area. And then we're going to install a water repellent to help prevent water from getting to that metal, that ferrous metal. Oh yeah, we're at the top of the tower now. So in this area, when we were doing the original mortar removal, you can see a lot of this is what we call trash. It's just not really bonded very well. A lot of voids, a lot of cavities. So also you can see it here in this collar joint. So we actually had to remove the sandstone coin and the adjacent granite piece because they were loose and debonded, which again is becoming a safety concern. These are a couple areas. They had previously patched them. This is something that we're going to talk about with the architect. You can see somebody had actually broken off spires, so I'm trying to find original photos of this location to where we can try and patch and rebuild what was originally here. So where we are now is the northwest chimney. As you can see, we removed the EPDM. However, when we did, we uncovered a lot of metal up here, which we were not expecting. Also, in the previous restoration efforts, they had actually put in lead and lead fibers in these mortar joints. So this is something we're going to bring everybody up to speed and see what direction they want to go. Also, this is a lot of the soot buildup and atmospheric staining. Our regular cleaning is not really getting it to the levels that I would like. So if you could walk over here, As you saw in the other areas, how clean it was able to get, this is where we are with the same application. So I kind of want to see their input. This is a piece of granite that when the original masons were installing this stone, this is something that should have been rejected. As you can see, there's actually shards of metal on the actual stone itself, which is causing a lot of that staining, that ferrous stain. This area here, you can see somebody used mortar and smeared it over top of the stone. So once we get the ACM material out, we're going to uncover and see what the actual damage is to that stone to see if it's preserved or if we need to put in a whole new piece. So these windows are actually leaking inside the office. So if you look over here, what we have to do is we need to take out all of these stones above the steel lintel. We need to remove the lintel, and as you see over here, we put in a stainless steel lintel and lead flashing, as it would have been done back in the 20s when this building was originally assembled. So Femenella is working on taking out the stained glass now. That's where we were walking by earlier.
So we're pulling some stained glass, which is all set in a groove. So yesterday we cut the putty line here.
Okay, follow us.
Easy.
Document everything, pictures, pictures, pictures.